you belong to the Merry Marvel Marching Society. March along, march along, march along to the song of the Merry Marvel Marching Society.
As I said in my last Rambler video, I wasn't quite sure how Captain America 2 would be, whether it would continue Marvel's rise in quality or not, and I was wrong to ever doubt them, because in the couple months since CA2's release at the start of April, I have been obsessed with absolutely all of their other projects. I've always loved Marvel, but for some reason it took the Winter Soldier for me to become a whole new level of fanboy. I spent many sleepless nights watching the movies, writing up my own databank on the continuity of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, then by day going to the library and researching everything I had just written down from the view of everyone who'd already done the legwork for me. That was before I got the internet. Special thanks to my new housemate for getting the internet and for feeding me. And while I have watched all of the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now and all the Blu-ray bonus features, I am looking forward to diving further in still with the tie-in comic books. But this town doesn't have a comic book store, so that may not be for a while. After saying all that, I really don't need to say much else on my overall opinion of this project because it's awesome. I love how they could stay true to the comic books for Phase 1, but now in Phase 2 they're making their own way. It all works together in a unique way for this new universe they've made. It's a really good balance of old and new that's rarely pulled off in these kinds of adaptations. The Mandarin, perfect example, depending on your opinion of it. But, of course, I have found a few problems with the series thus far, and a few story points that I'd like to see given closure to eventually, which I've narrowed down and grouped into 5 points for your viewing convenience. Number 1, the Hulk's enemies. I'll admit, of the 5 films leading up to the first Avengers, I enjoyed The Incredible Hulk the most, even if nobody else did. Because, seriously, even in the documentaries for this franchise, they dedicate not even 10 seconds in total to this film. And I really like to know what happened to keep Edward Norton from returning, because he was dedicated to this. But, all that aside, the Incredible Hulk set up 2 villains, General Ross and the Abomination, who have been mentioned or hinted at since, and one villain, Samuel Stearns, aka the Leader, who seems to have been forgotten altogether, but all of whom are still alive and should be able to return at any time. Abomination is currently frozen and in custody, as mentioned in a throwaway gag on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'll reassign you to Barrow, Alaska, and you'll spend the rest of your years pulling the night shift guarding Blonsky's cryocell.
But that's all that's stopping him. And Stearns still has plenty of Bruce's blood in storage, so he'd better be back at some point. Quick side note, the film Hulk by Ang Lee and starring Eric Bana has absolutely nothing to do with this series, and it annoys me to hear people still calling The Incredible Hulk a sequel. Number 2, Vibranium. The indestructible, incredibly rare metal has so far appeared thrice. In Iron Man 2 as the new element that Tony made to help his chess piece, as an entire interrogation room on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so maybe it's not that rare after all, and as the material Captain America's shield is made of, so I guess it's appeared more than thrice. However, they were all throwaway references, not even being mentioned by name in IM2. But also in IM2, we briefly saw that the only known location of Vibranium, a small nation in Africa called Wakanda, was being monitored by S.H.I.E.L.D. even back then, so why there isn't actually more Vibranium being used in like weapons and such, I've no idea. Also of significance, Wakanda is the home of Black Panther, but he doesn't even have his own confirmed movie just yet. Why the fuck not, Marvel? Number 3, the Red Skull. At the end of Captain America 1, we saw Johann Schmidt seemingly destroyed. I used the word seemingly a lot in my databank, by the Tesseract during his fight with Cap, except that Hawkeye calls the Tesseract
the doorway to the other end of space, right?
At the start of the Avengers, so most likely not. Sadly, Hugo Weaving has said he's not actually interested in returning to the role, but seeing as the stinger to the Winter Soldier saw the current version of Hydra in possession of Loki's scepter, and thus some of the Tesseract's power, I really hope Hugo changes his mind on this one. Number 4, the whole TV series. I know it's too late to fix the earlier episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, but yeah, they were shit. You could easily start watching from episode 10 and miss almost nothing apart from a few character developments and setups that are just recapped in the intro bits anyway. But the first season did get better later on, and after connecting itself to Captain America 2, had a pretty strong latter half that revealed that every single episode, even the lesser ones, included minor setups for elements of the final showdown. Similar to something I told a friend should happen after I'd seen the first 2 episodes back in October, otherwise I couldn't see a point to the whole thing. Now I do see more of a point with a setup for season 2 and beyond, a few villains yet to be paid off, and some cool good characters that I'd like to see in the mainstream MCU at some point. I still say they could have done better all throughout, and there's plenty of room for improvement for the next season, but overall, well played here, Marvel. Now you'd better pick up your act for Netflix. Number 5, all the main villains. I've already mentioned a few of them by name, but this is one general problem I really want to see improved on. I understand they want to focus more on their heroes, and that's fine, but their bad guys are kinda suffering here. Not just literally. They've had a couple good ones that they've already killed. The ones they haven't killed don't seem to be coming back anytime soon. Loki is more of an anti-hero now. The Mandarin turned out to be comic relief, although they have set up a possible appearance from the real Mandarin, not Aldrich Killian, in the Marvel one-shot All Hail the King. The Winter Soldier was really a henchman, an entire race of aliens just dropped dead, and everyone else ranged between okay and forgettable. On the plus side, even the worst Marvel villain so far is better than the best Amazing Spider-Man villain there'll ever be. And now for my feelings on the future, which as of now include 3 movies and a bunch of TV shows definitely confirmed, with movies for Black Widow, Thor, Hulk and Doctor Strange in various stages of pre-planning, rumour and or I don't know what the fuck. I'm starting to think that they should slow down with all this stuff. 2 movies a year might be too much. Phase 2 mostly focused on the original Avengers from Phase 1, with the exception of Hulk, and I've heard that Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a pretty awesome movie but probably not my favourite, aren't really going to be part of Avengers 2, so I'm a little worried that Phase 3 is going to be too full of introducing new heroes and plot points when they really should be more focused on possibly wrapping things up. Unless they try for a Phase 4 and really fuck things up. But then again, I was proven wrong about Captain America 2 and kind of proven wrong about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, so I can't draw conclusions just yet. Whatever the future holds, I'll be there to keep track of things for my own personal enjoyment. Unless I find something better to do with my life. Really hope so. A very appropriate shirt. I like to address for the occasion. I like to dress for the occasion. I address you as the audience. The nation of Wakanda. In their own way in Phase 2, and it all melds seamlessly together. Number 4, the whole TV series. And seriously, all the actors in The Incredible Hulk were incredible. They're good actors. Bring them back. Similar to something I said to a friend. Now for my feelings on the future, which as of now include 3 films and a whole bunch of TV shows, definitely confirmed, which films The Black Widow and Hulk, Doctor Strange and Thor.